The sun had just begun to rise over the quiet valley, painting the sky with hues of orange and gold. The cool mountain breeze whispered through the tall pines, and the sound of a distant river echoed softly. Standing at the foot of a massive mountain was a young man named Arjun, his eyes fixed on the peak hidden behind clouds. For years, Arjun had dreamed of reaching the top of that mountain. People from nearby villages called it Devagiri, the hill of the divine. They said those who reached the summit would find peace and clarity in life. Arjun had always wanted that, a purpose, a direction, something beyond his ordinary existence. But every time he looked up, the mountain seemed impossible. It wasn't just high, it was endless. He whispered to himself, "It's too far, too hard. Maybe it's not meant for me." Doubt crept into his heart. He had failed before, in work, in relationships, even in keeping promises to himself. The mountain became a mirror of his fears, tall, cold, and unreachable. As he sat on a rock, lost in his thoughts, an old monk appeared from the forest path. His robe was simple, his face calm, and his eyes shone with a peace Arjun had never seen. "Young man," said the monk, "why do you look so defeated before even beginning?" Arjun sighed. "I want to climb this mountain, but look at it. It's impossible. I'll never make it to the top." The monk chuckled softly. "You don't have to reach the top today. Just take one step." Arjun frowned. "One step? What difference will that make?" The monk looked toward the mountain and said gently, "Every great journey is made of small steps. You can't climb the entire mountain in a day, but you can take one step today, another tomorrow. One day, you'll look back and realize how far you come." Before Arjun could reply, the monk smiled and began walking away along a narrow trail that disappeared into the woods. His words lingered like an echo in the air, just one step. That night, Arjun couldn't sleep. Those 3 words kept ringing in his mind. When the first light of dawn touched the valley, he tightened his shoes and took that one step. It felt strange, insignificant, but it was a start. He walked a few more steps and soon reached the edge of a stream. The cold water stung his feet, but he crossed it. His heart raced, not because he was climbing high, but because he had finally begun. Days passed. The trail grew steeper, the air thinner. Sometimes, the path disappeared among rocks and wild bushes. There were moments when he slipped and fell, when rain drenched his clothes, when loneliness whispered that he should turn back. Every time that thought arose, he remembered the monk's words. Just one step. So he kept walking. On some days, he climbed fast and strong. On others, he barely moved. But each step, no matter how small, pushed him forward. He met travelers along the way. Some mocked him for wasting his time. Why climb that useless mountain? They laughed. Others encouraged him, offering water and food. But what mattered most was his decision to keep going. One evening, as the sun set behind the valley, Arjun found a cave and rested for the night. He lit a small fire and thought about his journey. He realized something profound, that the mountain was not his enemy. The real battle was within him, against his fear, his doubt, and his laziness. Each step was not just toward the peak, but toward a stronger version of himself. Weeks turned into months. The forest turned to rocky cliffs. Snow began to appear along the path. The cold winds howled, testing his will. His feet were bruised, his body weak, but his spirit unbroken. One morning, when the clouds parted for the first time in days, Arjun saw the peak clearly, shining under the golden sunlight. It looked closer now, almost within reach. He smiled, tears in his eyes. He whispered, "Just one more step." As he climbed the final stretch, memories of his journey flashed before him. The monk's smile, the long nights, the falls, the pain, the small victories. And finally, after one last push, Arjun stood at the summit. The wind roared around him. Below him, the valley stretched endlessly. The same place that once made him feel small now looked tiny beneath his feet. For a long moment, he stood in silence. There was no treasure, no temple, no divine voice. Just peace. He realized that the mountain hadn't given him anything, it had simply revealed what was already inside him: courage, patience, and faith. He didn't conquer the mountain. He conquered his fear of beginning. Arjun sat down, closed his eyes, and smiled. Now he understood what the monk had meant. The true climb was never about reaching the top, it was about learning to take the first step, and then the next, and never giving up. When he returned to the village weeks later, people gathered around him, asking, "How did you do it? Wasn't it hard? Weren't you afraid?" He smiled and replied softly, "Yes, I was afraid. But I took one step anyway."
Moral: no mountain is too high if you have the courage to start climbing. No dream is too far if you take the first step today. Most people stand at the base of their dreams, paralyzed by fear, waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect motivation. But perfection never comes. The only secret is to begin now. Because every great journey, every success, every transformation, every miracle, begins with a single, ordinary step taken with faith. Your one click can lift another soul. Hit like, share the truth, and fly with Eagle Sutra.